All right, we're back here again looking over our words on this page to make sure that we don't have any words we need to pre-read. There's a couple more down here at the bottom that I think we might have a few problems with, so we're going to go ahead and get our brains ready. So we have implemented, and then our last word that we have is improvements. So if you haven't already practiced our words, go ahead and whisper or say out loud to yourself a couple of times so we know we're ready to go. All right, here we go. Close read. So when I pause, the expectation is that you read the next word. This is probably because young people move more. They may not feel very to their, some people just don't believe their votes are. One barrier to voting is the voter registration process. Some places don't have enough staff to enter all new registrations before, and sometimes people make filling out the registration form. These can prevent someone from being allowed to, and many other, the government takes the responsibility of registering everyone when they become old. Automatic voter registration would probably improve voter turnout in the United. Okay, we're going to pause there. So looking at our first paragraph, what is one reason people may not choose to vote? You might have said they move often. You might have also said that they do not feel connected to the community. They don't believe their votes are meaningful. Those are all three really good answers. You might have also put in here that they make a mistake when they're filling out their registration form. What is one solution that some countries have come up with to increase the number of people that vote? One solution is automatic voter registration. That would definitely help. All right, we're going to continue reading. We have 3 more paragraphs to read. We're going to close read and then we'll have our discussion questions. Why don't registered voters their right to? One reason is that many Americans are motivated to vote only when there is an issue that affects them. They think any issues that don't have impact on them are not. Many voters don't bother to learn what the issues are. Even those who want to vote are not always able to do so. People might have to take time off, rearrange and wait in long lines just to cast their. Bad weather and traffic can easily inhibit people from voting. If the government implemented other voting options, it would make it easier for people to. These include having several days to vote or making Election Day The right to vote is one of the most precious freedoms any citizen has. Voting gets people the power to actively, perhaps with some to the voting process, we can encourage more people to vote. Sincerely, Vanessa Ortiz. All right, notice that your closing is indented, just like your paragraphs are indented. This is the letter format that we've talked about a couple of times. All right, so looking at your paragraph, we're going to highlight our key ideas. Why don't voters exercise their right to vote? Maybe they're only motivated to vote when it affects them personally. Maybe they also think that their vote isn't important. Maybe they don't know what the issues are. Second to last paragraph. What are some things that might keep people from voting? What are some things in their lives that might keep them from voting? Well, they might have to take time off from work or rearrange their schedules. They might have to wait in long lines, have bad weather, or traffic. What are some solutions to these problems? What are some solutions to these problems? They could make it easier for people to vote. They could have several days, or they might have the day as a holiday. Now, looking at our last paragraph, what do you think is the most important idea? What is she trying to tell us in the whole letter? I think probably this first sentence. This is kind of the main idea of the whole passage. We talked a lot about finding main ideas. That's not our focus for today, but definitely important. All right, so I'm going to ask you some questions. And remember, when I ask a question, you could just sit there and not participate, but pretend I have my popsicle sticks up here. Pretend that I'm ready to call on you at any moment. And it's really going to be important that you're looking at your paragraph and writing and trying to find your answers. So after reading the article, how does voter participation in the United States compare to the participation in other states or other countries? How does it compare? So put your finger on the paragraph that tells you about that idea. Now, a lot of these questions are going to be more inferences. You may have to use your detective skills. This paragraph, it tells us it is lower. 50%, oh, nope, that one right there. Sorry. Lower. 80% in most countries, 50% in ours. Look at our first paragraph. So this one is understanding academic vocabulary. That's what this question is going to get at. Looking at the word turnout, what do you think it probably means? Turnout. So what's our strategy? How do we solve this? We find the word. Here it is. Then we're going to read the sentence before, the sentences in, and the sentence after. So what do we think turnout means? Participation. The average participation is about 80%. According to the author, why does he believe, or she believe, it's a she, why does she believe that young people choose not to vote? And remember, you need evidence and explanations. You need to be able to point to the evidence. All right, you might have looked in the back. She talked a lot about young people, how they may not feel connected to their community. They just don't believe their votes are meaningful, or maybe they might make mistakes when they're filling out their registration. What are some ways that the government could help increase voter turnout? What are some of the ways that the government could help increase this turnout? Well, they might make an automatic voter registration. They might make it easier for people to vote across several days, or by declaring it a voting holiday. According to the letter, why might it be difficult for voters to vote under the current system? According to the author, why might it be difficult for voters to vote under the current system, how it is now? Well, they might have to take time off from work or rearrange schedules. It may take a lot of time waiting in long lines or getting through bad weather and traffic. Okay, according to the author, what is their attitude towards voting? Attitude, how do they feel about voting? And I need text evidence. So give me different ideas and tell me how that tells you their attitude. You might have selected this quote: "The right to vote is one of the most precious freedoms that any citizen has." So they definitely value voting. If you look at the first, obviously they're disappointed. Why don't more Americans vote, they ask. They even say the right to vote is the cornerstone of any democracy. There's lots of other ideas, but those are three really good ones. And our last question today is, how would you summarize, if you only could pick 1 to 3 sentences to tell this whole story, or letter, it's a letter, how would you summarize it? Either say it out loud or turn to a person and tell them. And you might have something about how voting is very, very important to our democracy, but many people don't vote for a variety of reasons, and how maybe we could improve participation by changing some things in the future. All right, so that's our lesson for today. I'm going to pause it here. Tomorrow, you're going to be asked to complete your vocabulary and your 4 comprehension questions, or 6 comprehension questions, and then also complete your graphic organizer. And we'll start the graphic organizer together, but you're going to finish it on your own. All right, I'll see you all tomorrow.